All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. Let me go ahead and help you read between the lines of what we have all witnessed concerning the bastardization and the gangsterization, if there's such a word, of what's going on in our alleged so-called quote-unquote legal system. I keep telling you that it's a system for the good old boys. Now, we know that Michael Cohen, allegedly, it looks like that he has taken a bullet for Donald Trump. And most people out there do not know the difference between cooperation and confirmation. The only time he started to cooperate is when he finally got his backed up against the corner, and then the SDNY, the Southern District of New York, the Attorney General, of that particular area, which, when Donald Trump got into office, the first thing he started to do was tell these, I think they're either called district attorneys or attorney generals of these particular districts. He told them all, you can either resign or I'm going to fire you. And the sole purpose of that is because he wanted to put his own people in those offices. Does the president have the right to be able to fire all the EDNY, the SDNY, or whatever? Sure he does. Sure he does. But think about this for a second. This administration is more and more starting to look like Goodfellas. And I'm talking about in the politics or the politician's perspective and point of view. Because, man, I tell you, Cohen started to cooperate. Notice, I'm appalled at an attorney. And all of them lied. Every single one of them have done lied under the Mueller poll. Because Robert Mueller turned this over to the Southern District of New York, and they are the one who bought the hammer down on Michael Cohen. Now, again, back to what I'm saying, all of them lie. They lie until they can lie no more, and then their back is up against the wall. Now watch this. But their back is not up against the wall like you and I. You see, when rich people do stuff like this, you know, I didn't even know that there was a prison out there called Otisville. And then the double standard I really didn't even comprehend and know about. You know what it is? Check this out. Whenever certain people are involved in high crimes, like Martha Stewart's representative, or Bernie Madoff, Michael Cohen, they don't go to the same prisons as us common folks do. They go to prisons that they get to watch HBO and Cinemax till 2 o'clock in the morning. They got basketball, baseball, weights, gyms, foosball. Wake up is at 6 o'clock. Lights out at 11 o'clock. Kosher dining hall. And I mean, man, it goes on and on and on. And who would ever thought in the history of the so-called justice? I've told you, there ain't no justice, it's just us. Listen to this. This guy's been sentenced. Now, what do they do with us? Man, they lock us and stuff us and stick us into jail until it's time for us to actually go to jail. What does this guy get to do? Because he is allegedly cooperating. Now, look, again, let me go back for a moment and explain to you the difference between cooperating and confirming. All right? You see, what the attorneys are looking for when they're talking to Michael Cohen is for him to tell them something they don't know, not something they already know. At first you wasn't cooperating. Now your back is against the wall. Now you are confirming what I already knew. So that is not cooperating. Cooperating is, let me just put it in everyday layman's term, is when you start throwing people under the bus, when you stop all this collusion, when you stop all this trying to sway the competing narratives. It's obvious that President Donald Trump told his fixer, that's who Michael Cohen was. He was the fixer, the cleanup guy, allegedly, the strong arm of the syndicated mafia that's being ran in this country right now. And so now he's done started not only to cooperate, I hope I'm not confusing everybody, but what he's doing now is he's starting to tell them, the SDNY, what they want to hear. And what they want to hear is they want to hear all the things that they don't know and the things that he hasn't confirmed. Now, the president, who finally came out and made a statement, what did he do? Well, I mean, think about this. These people that are in the Trump inner circle, before you can get in there, there has to be some type of unspoken oath or some oath that you've had to take, that you would take a bullet for President Donald Trump. Because if you don't get in that inner circle, and you don't get paid. And you're not a wise guy. So, President Trump came out and made a statement that Michael Cohen is an attorney. I am the one that gets advice from him. He knows the limitations of the law and what we should be doing. Man, you know what these people were involved in? I'm talking about not only false pleas, not only did they do egregious crimes. What in the world is that? But now Michael Cohen is playing the victim in all this. Now, mind you, playing the victim. You know the reason why he's playing the victim, right? He's playing the victim because he wants more. He wants really immunity from alleged justice. And what the justice that they're getting is not the same justice that you and I will get. Check this out. Again, this man has been sentenced to 3 years, three years in the most comfortable plush prison that there is. It's like not even going to prison. Kind of like what Martha Stewart went to. Prison for them is like living in an apartment complex for us. All right? But he doesn't even have to show up until, I think it's March the 6th. March 6th. He gets 120 days to roam the streets, to be with his family, and you just can't make this stuff up. If we get sentenced, do we get that kind of leniency? That's a double standard, isn't it? See, there's a good old boy club like I keep telling y'all. But this guy, hold on a second. All right. But this guy was involved in election fraud, paying off people, just some straight up gangster politics. So now President Trump is throwing him under the bus. Now he's getting ready to throw Trump under the bus. What do we need in order to make sense of both sides of these stories? I'm going to tell you exactly what we need. We need the third person. We need the third person that has actually been sitting in these meetings. And I'm sure that Robert Mueller and them is going after him. You know what? It's not looking good for President Trump. It's really, truly not looking good at all. I mean, some people are on the fence about whether he should be impeached or not. And then there's another side of the Trump constituency that actually believes that he can do no wrong. And I mean, and the beat goes on. We are in some times, I mean, some shaky times. Who'd ever thought and who'd ever known that these people had those type of prisons out there? That ain't prison. It's a medium security prison with minimum guards. I mean, and the family members can have up to 12 visitations a month. Boy, you talking about plus, huh? And you know what else that the attorneys and them trying to do, that now that he is allegedly cooperating and not confirming, they're trying to get the time that he's already been sentenced reduced, including these 120 days that he's out here running the streets with his family, to be tacked on to the end of tacked on to the time that he has already been sentenced. And you know what's going to end up happening? He's going to end up cooperating so much that sentence is going to get reduced so much to the point, I doubt if he even do a year in prison, a whole year, after all this racketeering, all this lying, all these campaign election intrusions. The district attorney of the SDNY, the Southern District Attorney of New York, man, they are bringing the hammer on this cat. And I mean bringing it hard. Tax evasion. I mean, all this stuff is it's all under fire. These guys, man, you would think they've been peddling liquor in the 40s. But man, I tell you, this world that we live in is in some serious, serious trouble. So get your popcorn, because it's getting ready to get real ugly. And Trump has got it in his crosshairs to run a second term. I don't know if he's going to make it or not. I don't know. Because all things are pointing towards, when you see that nuclear bomb go up there in Washington and New York, when you see that smoke ascend, don't say that PastorDowell hadn't told you so. Only thing I've been here to do is help you read between the line against all the media noise and the media bias. CNN tells you one thing, Fox News tell you the other, and then you have the rest of the story that's in between. That's what PastorDowell is doing, is giving you the rest of the story that is in between. Because these people, they are all snakes. The media's snakes, they're liars. They're all going to tell you what they want you to hear and not the truth. So I help you fill in the gaps, but it is literally appalling. This so-called American justice is sad. The double standard is off the chain. I keep telling y'all, justice doesn't mean justice for you and I. Justice means it is just us. And man, they would have threw us and gave us consecutive life sentences with no parole on some stuff like this. But man, these people, they get off every single time they do. They can do anything, and the system is for them. Man, and you got people out here volunteer to be police of this wicked system, only to become part of the problem and not part of the solution. I tell you, I don't trust nothing about America at all, not one thing. And I think that you would do well to be very pessimistic concerning not only senators, sitting presidents, law enforcement officers, I don't care who it is, because what we see going on in this time right here, man, I'm beginning to wonder who all the real inmates are and who are the real people that is running the asylum.